All right, all right, all right. I think we are up and running. I hope we are. Seems like we are. Okay. Let's see. What's good in the hood here? All right. Last adjustments here. Let's make sure I'm where I need to be. All right. I think we are good. Made some adjustments to my equipment. Now I've got to make sure that those adjustments are working. And here is the iterative process of going live. Who is Benji? Thank you so much for the heart me. Appreciate that. All right, we are rocking and rolling. Let's see. Got to get to. Okay, good, good, good. See that? So this is a bonus live. Today is Sunday, August 9th, 2026. Normally I don't broadcast Sunday nights, but today I am. So there you go. For whatever that's worth, right? We're gonna see. We gonna see. Um, let's see what else is going on here. Let me Big G says spare up. What does that mean? Hello Johnny A. Hello Justin. Hello Hill Scott. Hill Scott Corp. Why does that sound familiar? Warren. Hello. It's funny when people leave cryptic messages like that. Spare up. I'm guessing they meant to say something else, but who knows? I never know with these people. All right. So while we wait for more people to join us, let's remember do the heart me over my head. Next to my name, you will either see a heart me icon, or you'll see the words follow. The word follow, or it might be follow me. I'm not sure. But if you see that heart me icon with the word join, what you want to do is click that to send a heart me, just like Who is Benji did. And that's a way of letting the platform know that there is a live show going on, and hopefully you will get promoted. Once you do that, then share out the live. The best and fastest way to do that is to gently put your finger on the middle of the screen, right around my nose or my giant forehead will do, right? And you once you touch the screen lightly, just press and hold lightly. Your names will pop up of people that are your friends, any lists that you are on, or any lists that you've created in the messaging app uh, will pop up, and you can send uh, an invite to the list, which is great because lists hold up to 32 people, and it counts as one share. That's exciting, right? So share it out and then come back and tap, 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 tap like crazy. And while we're waiting for more people to come on, I'm going to play a little song. Fun one. I think this is the late 70s, early 80s. I have to figure that out. Let's see, do I have the information here? No, I'll have to. Oh yeah, there you go. 1982, released on April 14th, 1982. Now, to some people, this is going to sound like another record because there's another record associated with this groove. So, uh, hang in there. Here we go. This is Forget Me Nots by Patrice Rushin. Father's Jamal, right? Just so you know, Rihanna, I have retold that story about a dozen times because it was so impactful to me. So thank you so much again for sharing it. That's great to hear, Rihanna, that you're going to visit with your dad. That's just beautiful. Again, welcoming everybody. In a moment, I'll start having guests up if people want to come up, but I want to start out um, by saying, oh, hold on a second, we have a comment here. The prompt is absolutely correct. That's Keper Ra Pu Heru Mat. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Thank you. So, before we get to the substance of my prompt, which is actually very simple to understand, as far as like my explanation of it, I could see where the prompt alone might not be enough to kind of convey the whole story, but I think my very short explanation of it is very easy. So, um, from what I can tell in my 62 years of life, the only place that I've ever seen evidence of God is people saying that they believe in God. Other than that, I don't see evidence of God anywhere. And so I've concluded that God only exists in people's imagination. And I want to make a further comment that that's okay. It's fine. It's fine to believe in God. It's fine, and I want to make a distinction between the believer and the institution. In my opinion, the institution is fucking horrible, but there's no problem with believing in a God, any God. Of the 5,000 gods that are out there, you know, you can believe in any one of them if you want to. It's not a problem because beliefs don't affect anything. Beliefs can have an influence and do have an influence, of course, on your behavior, but, whatever your belief is, what's important is what you do. And sometimes, very often, people's behavior is contrary to their belief because people say they believe in the Bible, but they're very often not doing what the Bible says to do, right? But anyway, I want to read something. I just learned about this today and I was horrified, so I dug into it and I put up a post about it. And so I'm going to read the post. It's fairly short, but this shocked me. Did you know that churches carry SAM insurance? SAM stands for sexual abuse and molestation. The premiums go up to $25,000 per year, and that's paid by each of over 165,000 churches. And to put that into context, that's roughly half the churches. Okay? Every time you go to church and put money in the basket, your church might use some of that money to protect people, up to 74.6% white males, that harm children in the worst way one human can harm another. The next time you go to church, if you put money in the basket knowing this, what does that say about you? How can you live with yourself? Sam Insurance. Wow. That really rocked me. The whole concept of Sam Insurance is just wild. I might have to read that later from where people come on, but can you imagine? There's an insurance out there to protect monsters. That's wild. Oh man. Yeah, I was very disturbed reading that. I had never heard of that before. I had never heard of Sam Insurance. I heard about it today. As soon as I heard about it, I was freaked out. And so I read up on it and it was worse than I even thought. Because sometimes information gets cherry picked, right? And this could have been 5% of churches, 1% of churches, which would still be too much in my opinion, but if it was 1% of churches, that would be something that was obviously the vast minority of churches. But I looked up how many churches there were in America, and the number is roughly 350,000 to 400,000. So at worst, it's almost exactly half the churches, and at best, it's slightly under half the churches. That's crazy. As you're driving down your town, every other church you see likely has SAM insurance to make sure that a predator is protected. So I don't blame you for putting money in the basket before now, even though I kind of do because we all know what the church has been up to. But now that you know this, now that you have this little bit of information, that's very, very significant. How could you ever, with a clean conscience, put money in that basket again? If you can, I think that's an indictment on you. And it has nothing to do with anything else except you're willing to support that kind of behavior. And I said something in this post that this is harming children in the worst way one human can harm another. And let me put substance to that. And this is my opinion. And I have no reason to hold a different opinion because I haven't been able to come up with anything different than what I'm about to say. If you murk a person, no matter how old they are, you end their troubles, right? They're gone. They're no longer here. They have no more worries, right? When you abuse a child in that way that these predators do, you are condemning them for the rest of their lives. Now, is there a way out with lots of therapy and very specific type of therapy? Yes, but not everybody gets that. As a matter of fact, I'd say the vast majority of them don't. And I have met so many survivors. I was in an organization, one of the anonymous groups, for 6 years. And I met people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and older that were survivors. And it stayed with them their whole life. That trauma stayed with them their whole life. By the way, I have a hoodie on. Look at this. I bought this just the other day. This is a moisture wicking shirt that's also a hoodie. I look like a fat Jedi. Call me Fart Vader. Anyway, I had to cleanse the palate there because I was getting too serious. Roscoe says God is everywhere and yet nobody can see him. That's weird. I see trees everywhere, pretty much. I see cats everywhere. Do I believe Jesus is God? No, I don't believe Jesus existed. The world says Uncle Phil. Oh, that was funny the first 1,000 times I heard it. Uncle Phil joined the Sith. Now that's funny. That's funny. Your second comment redeemed your first comment. Yeah. Let's see. Trading Man? Trading Man. Of course you can come up. If you haven't figured out a way to request, let me invite you. Let's see. There you go. I've invited you to come up, Trading Man. And Trading Man is loading.
Hi.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Did I get that name
Okay.
right?
No, not really, but it's fine. You could just call me Alexis right now.
Okay. It's Shading
Okay,
MN,
so
that's what it is. I
yeah, sorry.
I added
I
the A.
have
Okay.
I have some Bible verses in like some like paragraphs that I made last night, like because I had nothing to do last night. Some like verses and stuff that I could tell you if that's fine to prove like some like Jesus is God.
What is the point of reading these Bible verses to me?
Do you believe the Bible or not?
I know the Bible exists because it's an actual book, but
Have you read it?
again, I asked you a question and you answered with a question. So, once again, what is the point of reading these verses?
Well, well, my religion. Do you are you? You're not a religion, right?
Holy fuck.
In my religion, we like, you know how we believe it? So, like, I believe the Bible and you don't, but I'm gonna read you some Bibles and hopefully
What
you believe it or
is the
not.
point of reading these verses?
The Never mind, just never mind.
Okay, good. Self-editing is a good thing. You know, it's because here's the thing. Here's the answer. I'm going to read you these verses so I can convince you of something, right? And that's fine. I would have accepted that answer. But like, you can't answer a simple question because let me tell you something. My questions get a lot harder after that if you come up here with Bible verses because Bible verses don't prove anything. Okay? The Bible isn't true because the Bible says it's true. That's not how logic works. Okay? All these goofy verses written by people that didn't know what the fuck bacteria was don't impress me. Because if you want to go verse for verse in the Bible, you're going to lose. Because I'll read some horrific shit from the Bible that you conveniently ignore. Okay? In fact, you shouldn't have been up here talking to me at all because you're a woman and the Bible says that you need to shut the fuck up when a man is talking. So you already don't believe in your Bible. Joshua, no offense, but why is it always the bigger folks saying God ain't real? I've heard so many versions of this. I've heard that only bald atheists, and it's like Christopher Hitchens, what's his name? Something Allen, um, Sam Harris, um, Richard Dawkins. Those are all thin people with hair. So I don't know what the fuck your point is. Okay. Mozart, SOG says, I pray you find out the truth before you have to stand before the Lord Jesus Christ. Why? What's going to happen if I don't? And you look like a man of color, which means that you believe in the version of God that your ancestors had beaten into them. Good choice. Joshua says, how can you be certain that we evolved from that? We evolved from what? I've not spoken about evolution at all. Dulesky Gimena or Jimena says, hold on, pardon me. Bible is true because time shows it's true, and you spelled shows wrong. But that could just be a typo. Dulesky, why don't you tell me how time has shown that the Bible is true? Because it actually hasn't at all. Ricardo Johnson says slave master indoctrination passed down. Yeah. E. Omer says pessimists shouldn't be atheists. That doesn't mean anything. Aaron Aldridge says, yeah, fake stories against fake stories like fighting fire with fire. Yeah. Go Joe. Go John E.G. Ego, sorry. E-Joe or Ego. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say what. Tucker says, the Bible says for women to be silent in the church, you ignorant fellow. No, it doesn't. It says more than that. You need to read up. You've obviously not read it as recently as I have. Matt Dillahunty is bald. Okay. And Richard Dawkins isn't. So I guess that kind of nullifies that idea, doesn't it? Dusty says, hell yeah, brother. God is made up BS. Wade, yo, Unc. I think God is real. Do you have a problem with me thinking that? No, not at all. You can think unicorns are real. You can think gnomes are real. You can think anything is real that you want. Doesn't mean shit to me. Wade, if you'd like to come up, feel free. Grandma Terry says religion is a fairy tale. Big L, it's just a story. Geez, they gave us religion. It's more than just a story. I mean, yes, technically it is a story, but it's a story with an agenda to make you think that you're not worthy as a human being. You're not worthy of God's love. It says that specifically. Um, it's a story to make women feel like they're inferior. It's a story that justifies owning human beings. So it's just a story, but the impact is very serious. People have gone into conflict with lots of people perishing. The Inquisitions, the Crusades, the witch hunts, those were all sponsored by the church. There was a lot of people perishing from violence over nonsense. So it's more than just a story. Jeremiah, the anime artist. Jeremiah, the anime artist. You're just my imagination. Wow, that was clever. Jeremiah, you sat down and you thought this out. You thought, you're just my imagination. Then you typed it out, and then you read it, and then you pressed enter anyway, even though it's such a dopey fucking thing to say. That's an impressive commitment to stupidity. Gilead says, Obama, I am a Christian by choice. Yeah. And I would tell you that Obama's not really a Christian because he's not doing what is commanded in the Bible to do. Joshua, I haven't skipped over any comments. There's a lot of comments that have come in. I'm actually 32 comments behind right now. And you're really an obnoxious person thinking that I'm up here for you. Atheism is pretty much meaningless. Okay. And Gilead or Gilad, whatever your fucking goofy name is, you're now typing the same thing over and over again. So obviously there's something going on with you mentally. Sierra Nicole says, I agree with you. We live in a simulated world praising a Bible ran by a lesser God. Oh, that's interesting. So there's I mean, look, the God of the Bible is kind of an insecure God, right? He needs so much from humans. He needs praise and love and worship and prayer. And, don't worship any other God before me. You know, that means there were other gods, obviously. Jeremiah says, your opinion won't change the biggest religion in the world. Well, my opinion is already changing the biggest religion in the world because their memberships are dwindling every year because people are getting smarter. Only one person came up so far. That's interesting, even though we have 81 people in here. Feel free to request up. Justin McGill says Pastafarian. There's actually a guy on another platform that refers to he runs the Church of the Holy Noodle or something crazy like that, and he refers to himself as a Pastafarian. But I know you were probably making a dig at my weight because that's so clever. Oh, I see a fat guy, so I'm going to point out he's fat. Oh, aren't I clever? No one is worthy. No, that's the kind of horseshit that I hate about the Bible. No one is worthy. What a piece of garbage idea that is. Yeah, as long as your beliefs don't hurt others, believe what you want. Yeah, great, true. However, if your beliefs result in harm, then that's a problem, right? And we know that religious beliefs result in harm. As a matter of fact, if you look at violence statistics worldwide, whenever you see religion, you're going to see more violence. The more prominent religion is in that country, the more violence there is. Gregory Adams, keep that same energy when Judgment Day comes. You spelled judgment wrong. It's one word, not two. Um, and see how fear always plays into these religions. He wants me to be afraid of Judgment Day because he's such a child that he believed this adult fairy tale, and he's afraid that the Sky Daddy going to get him, and he wants me to share in that same childish fear. Veronica says the Bible was written to control people. Absolutely. Hey, folks, the most popular version of the Bible was commissioned by a king who was an awful human being. You don't think a king had an agenda? Maybe to control his subjects? King James was a piece of garbage. Okay? And you're like, "Oh, yeah, let's read the book by this king." And by the way, there's a huge difference between the King James Version and the original Sinai text. Okay? The Sinai text, there's over 13,000 changes that King James made. And let's not even talk about the slave Bible that removed 95% of the Old Testament, because the slave Bible didn't want slaves knowing that enslaved people could escape their enslavement. Such love and light. Gilead says, quoting someone else again, as if this means anything. Kamala Harris says, my earliest memories of the teachings of the Bible were of a loving God. Okay, great. That means when she was a child, she heard the cherry-picked stories from the Bible that didn't include all the horrible shit from the Bible, so she thought God was a loving God. So fucking what? That doesn't mean anything to me. Okay? All religions have something weird. Yeah, pretty much. I'd say there's one religion that is not really a religion, is Buddhism. Buddhism doesn't have a deity, so I don't know why it's listed as a religion. I think it's simply a philosophy, right? This guy, Buddha, who we knew actually existed, went into the forest for 7 years to meditate and came up with some ideas and shared them with the world, and it seemed like they took hold, right? But paganism, essentially, we worship nature. That's what pagans say. That makes sense to me, right? Now, I think paganism, I'm not 100% on this, but some people say that it involves sacrifices. So, that could be the weird part. Stop getting triggered over the biggest religion in the world. Stop acting like the fact that a lot of people believe something makes it valuable. Okay, that's the second time, biggest religion in the world. Well, at a certain point in the world, everyone thought the world was flat. Did that make it true? No. So, lots of people believe in Christianity. So what? So what? That doesn't add anything to it. Oh, majority rule, we have the most people. Joshua says women in the first century couldn't read or write. First of all, that's not how you spell right in the context of what you're trying to say. It's Write, not Right, you donut. And in that sense, they couldn't preach. First of all, preaching has nothing to do with reading or writing. You could hear the word and preach it. So that's dumb to say that. That's a dumb justification. And again, the Bible makes it very clear that women are property. Okay, women are second class citizens. Women are evil. That's the story of what Adam and Eve taught us. And so, like this idea that the Bible somehow wasn't insulting to women is ridiculous. Okay, women were told that when a man is talking, you be quiet. That's what the Bible says, in not those exact words, of course, in the Elizabethan language of King James. Gregory Adams says, you are You are you to judge nobody? What the was that? Did you mean to say this in English? Who are you to judge anybody? Was that what you meant to say? You fucking donut? You are you to judge nobody. That's what you wrote. What a fucking donut. And Gilead, listen, Gilead, if you keep spamming the text with the same thing over and over again, I'm going to have to assume that there's something wrong with you and mute you for a while because you're really being weird. Okay. Jeremiah says human-only text compiled like the Bible would naturally contain massive contradictions in philosophy. I don't think that's an obvious conclusion to make. Because there have been works that have been enormous works by philosophers that don't contain contradictions. Jeremiah says, lists historical non-biblical sources that mention Jesus. Well, the thing is that mentioning Jesus is not significant. It's when Jesus was mentioned and how Jesus was mentioned. Okay, because there's not that many. Jews murked millions of Christians before it was cool. Jeremiah foretold his birth in Bethlehem. So what? If you're writing a piece of fiction, you can foretell everything that's in the fiction. Dr. Rowe, thank you for the heart. We appreciate it. And Adamani, is that right? Get that right? Adamami. Thank you. More heart me's, folks. Keep tapping that screen. Share out the live. I'm way behind. I'm over 100 things behind. I'm getting a lot of things. Okay, Gilead, I'm going to have to mute you for a minute because you're a little bit under control. I'm going to go with 5 minutes just to kind of help you calm down a little bit because you're just typing the same things over and over again or copying and pasting, whatever. Delmar O'Donnell, the only thing you are doing is talking shit about everybody that doesn't agree with you. Sad. No, that's not what I'm doing, Delmar, and the fact that you're not smart enough to understand that is unfortunate. Okay. Let's see. Let me let's see what people are saying. And thank you for all the comments. Unfortunately, they're coming in faster than I can really read them. But again, I'm surprised nobody wants to come up. So many people have so much to say. If you have opinions, come up. I was trying to talk to the other woman, but she didn't even know how to answer the simplest question. Now, people, 1 Corinthians 5:12. What about it? Shelley of the City, there is something very wrong with all religious people. I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with that. I think there's there's a big spectrum of religious people, right? Like not all religious people are the same. Some people just claim to be religious. Like it's easy to say I'm a Christian. Anybody can say that, right? But how many people are really living what the Bible says to do? Almost nobody. Almost nobody. Because the Bible is filled with violence that you're supposed to enact for a long list of offenses. And you know, just if you just take abominations, which are punishable by ending someone's life, there's a long list of those. So if you find out someone ate shrimp or lobster or crab, you're supposed to end their life. If you find out they mixed the wrong fabrics together, you're supposed to end their life. If you find out that a young woman had relations with a man outside of wedlock, you're supposed to gather the elder males of the village and have them drag her to her father's footstep and stone her in front of him until she has perished. Okay? And there's lots of other reasons for that. You know, if your own family members don't believe in God, you're supposed to stone them. And the list goes on and on. You know, so nobody's doing that. They're cherry picking the parts of the Bible that they remember from the mind numbing sessions of church, and they're going with that, but they're not actually living the Bible. And some people believe in it casually, some people believe in it literally, which of course is just ridiculous. And most people that believe in the Bible haven't even read the Bible, at least the people I've met and spoken to. And I've been having this conversation for roughly 45 years at this point. And most people that challenge me about the Bible don't even know some of the parts of the Bible that I talk to them about. You know, like when I think it was 70, no, how many was it? 42 teenagers were murked by God because they were making fun of a bald man. That's it. That was their infraction. That was what they were doing that God said, you deserve to go. Someone is coming up. Looks like Noah.
How come
All
like
right, did
all
I get
atheists are
that? Did I
bald?
get that right? Is it Noah?
Yeah,
Okay. And Noah, obviously you don't have any manners, so let me try to give you an example. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing wonderfully. Thank you for asking. So now what were you saying?
I said like I noticed a common denominator before, like between atheists, and a lot of them are bald. Is that a sign of intelligence?
How long have you been waiting to say that?
This is the first time I've seen your stream ever.
How
Like,
long have you been waiting
oh,
on this stream to say that?
less than a minute. Like
Okay.
less than a
So
minute.
you came up here and you thought, "Ooh, I'm going to say something clever," right? And you thought about
This
it,
wasn't even
and
clever.
you
This was like
thought and you
genuinely
thought and you
asking.
thought about it, and then you came up and then you
Yeah.
actually said it, and at no time did you realize how absurd you would sound saying something like that, right? That didn't occur to you, huh?
No, I was asking genuinely.
You didn't. You no,
Like,
you
how
weren't.
come?
You're a douchebag, and you weren't
No,
asking
man.
genuinely because there is no comment. As a matter of fact, some of the most prominent atheists that we all know
Are
of
bald.
are
They're
no.
very
They
smart
have
and bald.
full head of hair. They have full heads
Yes,
of
sir.
hair. Richard Dawkins is a famous atheist. He has a full
Yeah.
head of hair. Okay,
I read his
Ricky
book.
Gervais is a famous atheist. He has a full head of hair. Alex O'Connor or Alex Connor, I think his name is, full head of hair.
Yeah.
Sam Harris, full head of hair. What the fuck are you talking about?
That's like you only named like six of them.
Yeah, and those are famous ones, aren't they?
But
Those are
that
real
doesn't mean the
prominent
common
atheists,
denominator.
aren't they?
But they don't count as the
Are
common
they
denominators.
prominent atheists or are they not?
They are, but they don't
Okay,
count as the
okay.
common. That's like saying that's like saying any boxer
But
is
dude,
like
so
Mike Tyson.
you said that there was a common theme. So in that thread, shouldn't half of them have been bald if it
Well,
was such a common
if
theme?
you, but the thing is, you named off people you were looking for with hair, and
Okay,
I'm naming
so
off
name a list of six with who are bald.
Ricky Bowen.
Uh huh.
That's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't know if you know who Ogar
Oh,
is. Have you
go
met him?
ahead. Oh, I've never heard of him, but again, you're saying he's famous. Okay, go ahead.
Ogar, and then we have Jonathan. I forgot his last name. That's three of them.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
and where are they famous? Are they world famous or are they famous on
one of them.
TikTok?
No, not TikTok. One of them has a book that I read. I
Okay,
read a count. One of them has a book.
okay.
One of them is a famous debater. You can search
Uh
him
huh.
up. And then the other
And all of
guy
the people
was
I
this.
named are world famous. But okay,
Yeah,
keep
exactly.
going.
Yeah,
So keep
no,
going.
you
You
proved
have
my
so you
point.
have 3. Go ahead. So you have 3. Keep
No, but
going.
you proved my
Keep
point.
going. Keep going.
Wait, but can I say something real
You
quick?
have
You
3.
proved my
Keep
point.
going. Stop deflecting and keep naming names.
I don't know the other 3.
Oh, of course you don't. What a
But you proved my
convenience.
point.
What a
But you proved my
convenience.
point. What
No,
you
it doesn't
named
prove
off was
your
6.
point at all. You came
No,
up here
it
so
does.
full of confidence and sound like a fucking donut.
No, it does prove my point
No,
because you named
no.
off
Oh,
6. No, listen, you named off
why is
6
it that
world
atheists are
known.
bald?
You named off 6 world known
Yeah,
atheists
okay, right.
as if that.
Oh, dumb, 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 dumb. Fucking hell. Like, have a real conversation, folks. It's not that hard to do. Peter wants to come up. Peter, how you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I can barely hear you. If you can get closer to the mic, that would be helpful.
Is this better by any chance?
That is definitely better. How can I help you this evening?
I disagree with you when you say God is just your imagination.
How old are you,
I'm
Peter?
a part.
How old are you?
15.
Yeah, can't talk to a 15-year-old. Bye. Okay, let's see who else wants to come up. Someone else wants to come up. I see a star. I purposely marked this as 18 plus. I'm surprised that TikTok showed Peter my stream. You are. I see just a red star. How you doing, red star?
Hi. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Awesome. I don't have an argument. I just wanted to say that you're doing awesome. Keep up the good work.
I appreciate it. What are your thoughts on? Oop, that was it. Came and went. All right. Steven, my old buddy Steven Martin is coming up. Hey, Steven, haven't spoken to you in a while. How you doing, buddy?
I'm on the better side of life right now. How are you?
I'm glad to hear that. I'm wonderful. Someone else was considering coming up, but then they decided to go. So what's on your mind this evening, buddy?
Well, it's actually a really great topic that you brought up because more than just your imagination, I kind of think it's more of a hallucination.
Well, so we can get to that. Let me you weren't here in the beginning, so let me just give a little bit more substance to my prompt, and then I want to hear the rest of what you have to say.
Sure.
So when I say God is just your imagination, the rest of that, which can't fit on a prompt, is the reason why I've come to that conclusion is that the only place I've ever seen in my 62 years of living that God exists is in people saying, I believe in God. Outside of that, I've seen absolutely no evidence for God's existence. So that's why I concluded that the only place God lives is in people's imagination. And lastly, that's fine with me. If you want to believe in God, any type of God, whatever it is that your God is, of the 5,000 religions that are out there, that's perfectly fine. I don't object to people believing in God. Well, when people come up and tell me that God is real, then we have a conversation. But go ahead.
Yeah. So, okay.
You were saying it could be a hallucination.
No, for me, most people who come forward with this God language, they are hallucinating. It's usually. Yeah, it usually happens to be the doorstop from keeping them from actually crashing into something that makes them actually cause damage to their own life more often
That's
than
interesting.
not.
That's an interesting perspective.
I find, and I don't have a problem with religious people if they're passive and they are doing good work out there. If it gives them meaning, that's great. Right? Like,
Agreed.
I have my own hallucinations about myself. Like I hallucinate that I'm the most attractive human being on the planet because it makes me feel good and I can go out into this world and have a nice time. Right? But some people take their hallucinations about God and use it as a divisive tool to be able to cut up and cut down society and people for their own empowerment, and usually more often than not, power and money. And so that's how I feel about how other people experience God. I really love the quote Jimmy Carr does about what AC/DC said, which is God is really just the blanket we throw over the invisible that allows us to give shape to the mysteries of the universe.
Yeah.
I think I'm close. I'm
I
not sure
love
I got
Jimmy
that.
Carr. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. Before we continue, let's say hello to Jeff. How you doing, Jeff?
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
I am very well. Thank you for asking.
I'm doing so well.
God is just your imagination. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I just saw that. I just scroll on this and I just saw that. I was like, I gotta hop on this and share my view with you all.
Excellent.
Thank you, thank you. My argument for that would be there is everything that we see around us, all this, creation. We see the ocean, the earth, the universe. From nothing cannot come something. So we see
No one
something.
has made that argument, but okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So like right now we see a chair, right? We know, something caused that. So we see the universe, and so something is there, but where does that come from? I would say something. You cannot say nothing. Something cannot come from nothing.
Right.
Therefore,
We've already addressed the idea that no one has made the claim that something can come from nothing. So I got you. You've said it twice. I got you.
got it. Okay. So
Are you leading up to some kind of proof that God exists?
Yes. So when people, what I believe, right, when we say God is a higher power than our human, than just evolution happening. So if we say something, like I'll just go back to that, right? So everything that we have right now comes from something.
Okay.
Therefore, whoever caused that is God.
Okay. So that's a conclusion, but I'm not hearing the proof.
I don't think in this life we cannot prove anything. We can only look
Well,
at
science
things,
proves stuff all the time.
and they get so many things wrong all the time too, right?
What do you mean so many things? They
Okay, then let me
get
say,
some things wrong, but the only reason that they get things wrong is that they're constantly trying to prove that things are what they say they are, and if they get it wrong, they admit it. Okay? That's the big difference between science and religion. Religion is saying don't ask any questions, just believe. And we don't have to prove it. We don't have to prove anything. You just take it on faith, which is accepting something to be true without evidence. That's what religion says. So
okay,
let me ask you this. Between science and religion, does religion answer any questions that science doesn't? The answer is no.
does religion answer any question
That
science
doesn't. Yeah, the answer
So
is no.
science
The
cannot.
answer is no, they don't. Now, the other question is of the things that science does answer, the questions that science does answer, does religion answer them better than science? Again, the answer is no.
So you're saying everything the science said is correct?
No, that's
right?
not what I said at all. That's literally not what I
Okay.
said at all. I
Okay,
said
then
of the questions that science has answered, which presupposes that there are questions that science has not answered. That's how grammar works. Okay, then has religion answered those questions better? No. Science hasn't answered everything, but when they answer something, they prove the answer.
Okay, so let's go back to the proof, right? So you said without proof we cannot believe anything, right? So when you are
No, I didn't say that. My God, you don't hear very well, it seems. Okay, I didn't
then
say
how do you
anything.
believe something
I
is
didn't
true?
say anything like that.
Then you asked me for a proof, right? So I'm asking
Yes,
you for a
I've
proof.
asked you for proof.
Okay, then
Because you're
now
making, listen, one of us is making a claim. You made the claim that God exists. So the burden of proof is on you.
So the proof is that something is being created. There's
That's
so
not
that
proof
means,
of anything because human beings create stuff all the time.
so what creates everything?
What
I'm
do you
asking
mean
you.
by everything?
The universe. What created the
Evolution.
universe?
What created the universe? I don't know.
That is what people say God is, right? Something that is
That's
beyond.
what you're saying God is. You're saying that essentially, I'm gonna try to summarize what you're saying because you don't seem to have a good grasp of it. If there's a question that we can't answer, that's God, right? That's basically what you're saying? That's the God of the gaps theory?
No, that is not what I am saying.
Oh, okay. So what are you saying?
So what I am saying is that when we say there is a higher power, when you say God, what is God? What is the definition of God to you? To me, I'll explain what I said. So God is a higher power than a human on earth, right? That is what when people said
Okay,
I
so like
worship God,
gravity. Gravity's a higher power, right?
what do you mean? No,
Gravity's not a higher power than humans?
no. Gravity is just a thing, right? So are you gonna say like, oh, water is a higher power than human?
Can I ask Jeff a
No,
question?
hold on. I wanna try and examine this with Jeff because
Okay.
that's a weird take. I've never heard someone say that gravity is not a higher power than humans. Are you telling me that humans are not subject to the power of gravity?
So my definition of a higher power.
Excuse me. I just asked you a question. I asked you a yes or no question. Are you telling me that humans are not subject to the power of gravity?
We are not subject to it. We live in it, but we're not subject to it.
Okay, so you don't know how words work. Okay, you don't know how words work. That's the problem that we're having here. And this is the problem we've been having this whole conversation. You really don't understand how words work. Okay? So can you tell me a human being, any human being that has shown that they are more powerful than gravity?
Can you show me that gravity is more powerful more intelligent than human?
Why are you changing the question? Why are you trying
Because
to move the
you are-
goalpost? Why are you
because you
trying
are
to move
trying
the
to set up
goalpost?
a
Dude,
trap.
you're not good at this. You're not
You're trying to
good
set up
at
a
debate.
trap.
You don't understand how words work.
Because
All you
all
do
you
is
wanna do-
pivot and move the goalpost. You're not interesting. You're not bringing anything to the conversation. So goodbye. Star, you're back. How you doing? Before we get to you, Star, Steven, what do you make
No
of all
worries.
this so far?
Well,
This is
you know what's
literally
so
this is the
hilarious?
first time in my whole life that someone said that we are not subject to the power of gravity.
Well, I mean, even before we got there, like he starts with the scientific process. He asks a question, which is usually the canon for how you start the scientific process. Ask a question, form a hypothesis, and then test it. And he asked a very fundamental question: what created the universe? And then he went on this magical journey in front of all of us, embarrassing himself, not knowing how words work, not knowing how anything other than what he believed. Like, guys, I used to love Harry Potter. Right? Like I used to love, right? But sometimes when you read books as a child, you grow out of them and you grow out of the beliefs. But my God, he started the scientific process, but then created with like Crayola crayons something that was just so colorful and fun for him, but just not interesting or informative for anyone else.
Yeah.
Anyways,
And that's the irony too, is that they're trying to challenge science and they don't realize that they're using the scientific method to do that.
Yeah.
So it feels weird calling you Red Star. What's your actual name?
It's a maple leaf.
Maple leaf.
You can just call me Dia. But hi, I heard you ask a
Dia, you
question and I
said?
left. Yes.
Okay.
I'm 22, by the way.
Excellent.
I heard you ask a question, and I felt really bad for leaving because I didn't hear it when I left. But what was your question?
Oh, fuck. There's no way I'm going to remember that.
Was it about the title of the live?
Uh-oh, don't clip it.
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay, because I honestly, I don't have a really good debate for that because I am a spiritual pagan, so I don't really, I don't follow
I like
God,
pagans.
but I used to be a
They
Christian.
seem harmless.
Thank you.
Let me ask you, are you like, would you call yourself like a member of the pagan religion?
Not really. I do have
Okay.
friends who practice something called asatru, which is like kind of like Christianity, but it's specifically catered towards Odin and the Norse pagan religion. I'm a
Okay.
Norse pagan. I
Okay.
have been for like 10
Oh,
years.
so
So it's
Norse
yeah.
Norse. I'm very attracted to aspects of the Norse religion. I do love the concept of the Valkyries, and I do
Oh,
love the
thank you.
concept of Yggdrasil. Right, that's the tree of life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Yggdrasil is a tree of life, and
Yeah.
then
You
there's
see,
also
I say
things
shit like that because I want to come off as smart. So anyway.
No, you're totally
Don't
good.
worry,
I
we're
mean, you
clocking
seem
you,
really
Yoddah.
smart. No, yeah, I used to be a
So in
Christian
the reason why I
though.
asked you about if you remember, so you have some kind of association with paganism.
Mhm.
Does paganism include sacrifices?
Not in the modern day, but back then there were some groups that
Okay.
did do sacrifices to the gods, but not in the, it's really condemned and frowned on in the modern day.
Oh,
Even
okay.
I don't
Good,
do
good,
it.
good. I like that
No,
idea.
yeah.
Yeah. So as
We're
far
not
as I
like that
could
anymore.
tell, paganism is harmless because it's just like, oh, let's worship nature and and the
Yeah,
forces of the
pretty much
universe and stuff like that. And I see no fault in that.
No, yeah, pretty much like my like Norse paganism to me is basically like okay, so Thor is the thunder, and what's his name, Frigg, he's the wind and the rain. So like when thunderstorms come, I feel really connected to them, and it makes me really happy. It makes me feel safe because they're here and they're listening. And when I see like the color blue, I think of Odin. When I see anything pertaining to romance, I think of Freya. So it's just like cats. Cats are a symbol of Freya. So it's just like everything around me is my gods, not just
Right.
one book or he's not
Right.
just in the sky. Like they're around me, so that's why I'm so
Right.
connected to it.
Yeah, I like that. As a matter of fact, in Anchorman, one of the ad libs that what's his face, Will Ferrell said was "Great Odin's Raven."
No, yeah, I definitely love Hugin and Munin. They're my two favorite ravens. But I think what's funny is I used to be a Christian when I was a kid. Well, not like a Christian, but I did believe in God.
Yeah.
And the reason why I stopped believing is because one day, well, my mom used to be
Your
a
frontal
Wicca.
lobe
So
developed.
yes. No.
You grew
So
up.
what happened is my mom had a friend and she had an accident, and I prayed to God every night that he would not take her. And I said, please do not take her. I love her. And what happened after like 2 or 3 days, she died. And I was like, I'm mad because I spent like days and nights crying and weeping to God and he did nothing. I never really felt a connection either. And
Yeah.
he let things happen to me that my gods now would not let happen to me. And it's like now I have power and not someone power over me. You know what I mean?
Well, prayers to me, in the Christian context, don't make any sense.
Exactly.
Because we're told that God has a plan for everybody. Which is weird because if he has a plan for everybody, then he planned for me to be atheist, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so if that's the case, then there is no free will if we're just all living God's plan according to his plan. And prayer would not change his plan. Like why would the like if a perfect being planned out your life, then anything that you ask him to deviate would mean that either his plan wasn't perfect or he wasn't as powerful as you think you are. Like the prayer thing just doesn't add up logically.
No, definitely. And a thing I saw that made me kind of giggle, it was a post and it was like, well, if God heals everybody, then why do we need hospitals and doctors? And I was like, you know what?
Yeah. Well,
Yo,
also,
I've been saying
like,
that for 10 years.
Yeah, I've been quoting a statistic incorrectly for a while, and I looked it up the other day just to make sure, because that's what I do. Sometimes, time goes on, and I realize that I conflate certain things. I was saying that roughly 20,000 children every day starve until they perish. That's not true. It's a total of roughly 24,000 people, and 8,000 of those people are children. So 24,000 people perish every day, and that includes 8,000 people. And when they perish from hunger, that is a particularly painful way to go.
Very
It's
painful.
a long, drawn-out process, which culminates in your body digesting itself. And that's where you have organ failure and respiratory failure and heart failure, because your body is just literally consuming itself. And so my question is, why does that exist? All right. That's one question that apologists can never answer. The other question is, since there are some animals that are herbivores, why can't all animals on Earth be herbivores? Right? Why does there have to be predation, which is violence and suffering, every single day for some animals to eat, when we see that God is perfectly capable of creating herbivores? They can't answer that either.
Yeah.
I think also piggybacking off your comment about history, especially like the dinosaurs, I've noticed that a lot of Christians tend to deny like the prehistoric era, but it's literally just basic common sense to acknowledge the prehistoric era and the Mesozoic era and everything that happened back then with dinosaurs. Like that's just evolution. That is not like fake.
Well, the thing, I don't think common sense exists. And my evidence for that is if common sense existed, then every state would have the same age of consent. But they don't, right? Let's see, we have Doc Brown. Am I getting that right? Doc Brown?
Hello.
Hello, how you doing tonight?
Good.
Okay, so Doc Brown is a man of few words. So Doc, my prompt is God is just your imagination. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree that
You agree.
gods of all kinds are made up by the human mind over evolutionary time.
All right. Excellent. So what led you to that conclusion?
I grew up Baptist, and if you weren't fully submerged in water, you couldn't go to heaven.
Right.
And I went to a friend's church who was Pentecostal and comprehended how different they acted than in my church.
Yeah. They're angry in the Pentecostal churches, right?
Yeah, we you know, we sang some songs, the preacher preached his lesson, we sang a few more songs, and then we had really amazing food afterwards from all the old ladies of the church. Oh my God, that was the best part.
Yeah, I used to think of church as an aerobics class. You know, sit, kneel, stand, pray, sing, pay money, and go.
Yeah, but then going to the Pentecostal church, they had like a little song, and then I clapped, and nobody else was clapping, so I felt out of place. And then they had like a demon in the church or something. I'm not 12 years old, dude. And they gathered all the kids, which I'm with my friend Clint, who was Pentecostal. So he's like, yeah, just come on. I'm like, okay, I followed him. We went into this little room that was apparently protected from the demons while this lady was falling out and speaking in God knows what kind of fucking language.
Oh, wow.
And
All to scare children to death so that they can
shit.
follow this nonsense.
This was a mile from my house.
Yeah.
So at that point in my life, I'm like, done. This is fucking stupid.
Yeah, we got there around the same time. I was 10 when I reached that conclusion. But Island Boy Pundit, welcome. How you doing this evening, brother?
Man. It's as usual, you cooking.
Yeah, you missed some fun stuff earlier, man. Just goofy people coming up trying to make a point that didn't even know what their point was.
Yeah, what's her name? What was your name? The lady?
Dia.
I don't see her name. Yeah,
Dia
she has the leaf in her down below. Yeah, so she mentioned dinosaurs. So I don't even know if this website is up anymore, but it is this website back in the day called Conservapedia. And these mofos actually said that dinosaurs and humans existed at the same time.
Right. So they
That's
thought the
what made that.
Flintstones was a documentary.
Yes, they thought the shit was fucking real. Yo, I was, and you used the Bible to justify it. I remember sharing it on the Book of Faith back in the day because I thought like this can't be real. Like
Y'all in my
this
field.
can't be real life.
That hurts me so bad because I love paleontology. Like that is so painful to
So
hear. I've
same
never heard of
here.
that. Why'd you show that to me?
You would
I was
think
I'm
you would
telling
not
you,
knowing that.
you would
telling
think
you,
that they
right?
would release a new Bible with an updated
Listen to me.
version.
Listen to me. Listen to me. I, as the Yoda would tell you, I'm a nerd with that shit. I love that stuff too, right? I love paleontology, evolution, fossil records, the different layers, the iridium, the K2 layer, I get into that shit,
I'm an
I love to get
evolutionary
into,
biologist.
yeah, but I mean, because self-styled, self-taught, I'm not,
Yeah.
but I'm saying, but that's my shit.
Well,
So
check
when I
this
saw
out.
that,
I read something at the very beginning. None of you were here for it, so I'm going to read it again because I just learned about this today, and this shit fucked me up. Like, it got me very upset, and the more I read about it, the more upset I got. Did you know that churches carry SAM insurance? SAM stands for sexual abuse and molestation.
ooh,
The
yes, I
premiums
heard of
go up
this.
to $25,000 per year, and that's paid by each of over 165,000 churches. And to put that in perspective, that's about half the churches. Every
Isn't
time you
that
go to
Jesus
church and put
Christ.
money in the basket, your church might use some of that money to protect people, up to 74.6% white males, that harm children in the worst way one human can harm another. So the next time you go to church, if you put money in the basket knowing this, what does that say about you, and how can you live with yourself?
Well,
Isn't
what it
that
says is
I'm
that
sorry.
you are prepared to fund sexual abuse.
Yeah, be careful. We have to say words like
Oh,
schmexual.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I've
I
been on
know
the other app
it's
too
goofy,
lately.
but
Yeah.
but I mean, did anyone not know about this before tonight?
Oh, I knew about it before.
Did
Yoda,
Isn't
anyone
you
that the
not
just
one
know
where
about
reminded
it?
me.
where you can
Did
like
any?
confess
Oh,
to a pastor for doing something like that and they will protect you?
Say that again.
Isn't that where you can confess to like say like essaying a child and the pastor literally has to protect your word and not tell the police?
Well, that's not the same as the insurance that I'm talking
no,
Oh,
about.
I
That's
thought
a
that was it.
different
I'm
thing.
sorry.
Yeah, but
no,
no,
the
this is literal
insurance.
insurance that
Yeah,
churches
That
buy
is crazy.
so that when a predator strikes and harms a child in the worst possible way one human being can harm another, that they have the funds to hire lawyers to protect that person. How sickening is
and
that?
or
Hi.
payout
And
if
or
they have to
payouts, right?
make a payout.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So before we
Hello.
continue, we have a couple of people, one of whom can't wait her turn for some reason. Is that
Oh, I'm
you,
sorry.
Nicola, that's a little excited? Nicola, is that you? Hello?
In Dala,
No,
in
no,
Africa.
it's in Daloye, Africa.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Ndala.
I don't really know.
That's
I'm
a
sorry
beautiful
about that.
name.
I don't really know how the mic works and stuff, so
Well,
I'm sorry about the
you're
talking.
doing great so far. I can hear you. And how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for asking. So, what's on your mind?
What's on my mind? Wow. Okay. I am coming to say that I think God does exist.
Okay.
My take on this is that first things first, right? As much as I wrote in the comment and someone said there's no evidence of God, I am aware of that there isn't a physical, tangible entity that we can hold as God. But when I joined the live and I joined too late, I couldn't really hear your statement that you were saying, where I think you're talking about why cancer and all those things exist on Earth.
Close, but
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah.
I didn't hear like the whole sentence. I joined when you were saying the last part of it, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, could you like restate that?
24,000 people every day perish from hunger. And in that group of people are 8,000 children. So 1/3 of the people that pass away. Why does God allow that?
Well, because God is all knowing and all wise, right?
And what's wise about that?
Okay, so how I choose to believe it and how I see it is when God created Earth, He created something that could sustain itself. Do we all agree that there is both evil and good that exist on Earth?
Well, according to the Bible, God created evil, so sure.
Yeah, so there's both evil and good that exists on Earth, right? So in something, in a place like that, and this Earth is a system. So if we have cancer and all these kind of things, we do agree that there is genetics. We do agree that there is food that comes into place in the creation of the body. We do agree that there's so many other
8,000
things.
children have to perish from hunger
Due
every
to
day?
genes, from hunger. Oh, okay, from hunger mainly because there is no food. There is food, but we
There's
are not
tons of food.
distributing it equally. Exactly.
There's tons of food. Look, so far we're not even close to answering that question. So gather yourself up for a minute. So think for a minute. I'm going to move on to Eric, but I'm going to come back to you.
One last
I'm
thing.
going to come back to you. Okay, Eric, how you doing? Unmute yourself, please, and say hello to us. You're muted right now, Eric. Please unmute yourself. There you go.
Yes, sir.
How you doing this evening, Eric?
I'm doing great. How y'all doing?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking. So what's on your mind?
I just read your title that states on there and listened to the conversation. You say God just an imagination. And I was listening to your conversation in regards to, I think y'all was saying how, all this evil regarding, I think, that a lot of, churches, I guess, less kids and different things that's going on and stuff and, things. So, I mean, but my thing is that we can't blame God for what man wants to do.
Sure,
man has always been in this, but listen, man has always wanted to actually do what they want to do. So you're talking about the church that, how they
according to the Bible, who created man?
God did, yes.
So then God created man to do evil?
No, he created in our image and he gave us free will. We can choose.
Right. Well, first of all, there is no free will because believe in me or you burn in hell forever is not free will. That's coercion. So let's dispense with the nonsense of free will.
No,
why would
you say it's nonsense? Why would you say it's nonsense?
Why would God
why do you call it
allow
nonsense?
for evil?
Let me ask you a question. Why is free will nonsense?
Why does God allow evil?
Well, it's not that he allow evil. The thing
yes,
is
he
that
does.
See, the thing is that evil is basically anything that's against God. God is a pure and just God.
God said he created evil.
Listen,
how can he create something against himself?
Okay,
You're
let
not
me
making
explain to
sense.
you.
You're
Well,
not making sense so far.
Let me finish.
No. Look,
I'm going to let you explain.
I'm going to let you explain.
Then why would you ask me a question?
Eric, calm down. Okay?
Why would you ask me a question?
Dude, if you don't know how to have a conversation, I'm going to just drop you.
That's what I would love to have a conversation.
I don't really need this shit. Okay? You're not making any sense so far because you keep referencing things as if God did not create them according to the Bible. In the Bible, did not God say that he created evil?
That's what I'm saying. Let me explain.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Okay, God created the angel that decided to do evil.
You're not going to move on until you answer my question. Okay, because that's how conversations work. No, I asked you a yes or no question. So if you want to substantiate your yes or no after you say yes or no, fine. But if you don't answer yes or no, we're not moving forward.
Okay, so yes. Well, God
So
created
God
evil.
created evil. Okay.
Okay.
So why would God create something? You said evil is against God. So why would God create something against himself?
Okay. So let me explain.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So you might not agree with it. Do not cut me off. Let me
Go
finish my point.
ahead.
Okay. So God basically created the one entity that decided to go against God, that decided to make evil. Okay. So he wanted to take place of God. So he came
That's
basically, he
not,
was
no, what you're
taking
saying
out,
is not
he was,
true.
so,
What you're
so it
saying
was
is not
Satan.
true.
It was
God did
Satan. It
not
was taking
create
out.
We
an
gotta
entity
interrupt
that
you.
was evil.
Listen,
God
listen, you
created evil. God created evil, brother.
God, listen, so
You're
who
pivoting and
was
you're
evil?
misrepresenting the Bible right now.
But who was evil? Who basically is evil?
It wasn't a who, it was a thing, an energy. He created evil.
Because
That's what he
okay,
said.
so based on the Bible, basically he created us. Remember, Adam and Eve did not commit any sin until when who showed up?
A talking snake.
Okay, until who showed up? Satan showed up. Okay, so that's where it began.
It's never.
So
It's
what
not
my point is,
specified to be Satan.
okay,
It's just a
so
talking
what I'm just
snake.
trying to say is, anything that's against God is a God, good, just God. Okay,
Oh,
anything
really?
that's against God is
Wait,
evil.
hold on. Let's
Okay,
linger on that
so
point
if
for a
let's say if he
moment.
was to
Let's
finish,
linger on that
anything
point
is
for a moment. Hold on. You
wait, but
made
let
a
me
point.
finish.
Hold the fuck
Yeah, but
on.
No,
I
nah, see,
will
you're not
let you
fair. Let
finish
me be
no,
fair.
if
Let me
you
finish.
just calm
no.
down. You're not going to gish gallop me, brother. It doesn't work. I am too smart for this shit. Okay? So you said God is a good, just God. That's a point. That's an assertion that you're making. So I would like to linger on that point for just a moment before you continue. Okay? So was it just and good to drown everybody on earth except a family of 8?
That was his decision. He can do whatever he
I didn't
wants.
ask you
The
if it was
Lord,
his
yes,
decision. I asked you if it was good.
yes, it was good because
Yeah, okay.
because it
So
was
you're a
too much evil.
fucking lunatic. Okay? So
Why why
goodbye.
why?
Okay. Back
Hey,
to you.
Remember when I
Yoda,
said hallucinations?
Yeah. Go
I
ahead,
have something as a make.
Island Boys.
I have something that make y'all sick. I don't know if you saw my video where I was using the audio from a Dean. I forgot his name. Dean.
Dean Withers?
The Dean Withers show, and he was talking to this MAGA woman, this staunch Christian woman, and basically her assertion was like, God is good, and everything God does is good. And so the audio that I was talking about, so Dean presented to her the fact that the youngest mother in the world to date was a 4-year-old girl who was raped continuously and viciously by her own father. And she bore that child. And Dean Withers asked her if that was good. This woman, this Christian, said that if God allowed it, then it must be good. It has some purpose. She rationalized that. And that is the fucking insanity that I cannot take with these so-called Christians out there. She cannot answer. They're trying to rationalize shit. So this is one of the reasons why I always say on here,
Eric wants
I
to
am
come back so he
function.
could tell me about more
I am
horrific shit
functionally.
that goes
I
on.
am functionally. This is why I tell you guys, I am functionally atheistic, but intellectually I'm agnostic because I'm leaving room for the unknown. So that's why I always, you
Whatever
heard me
gets
say
you
that
through the night,
before.
man.
You heard me say that, right? Like, because shit like that, I cannot take.
Yeah.
That kind of absurdity, that kind of grotesque absurdity
Yeah,
in the
it's
name of
disgusting.
believing
It's
in your
disgusting.
sky
Yeah.
daddy is
Because
really fucking
when
infuriating.
people don't think of Noah's Ark in the way that it really happened according to the Bible. We know it didn't really happen, but according to the Bible, God murked everybody on earth. It wasn't a regional
Yep.
flood, it was worldwide.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
And that meant that every living being, and let's just right now go with humans, because apparently otters can sin too, but every living being got wiped out. All right. Which means men, women, the elderly, and children, infants even. And at that time, there were roughly anywhere from 100 million to 400 million people living on Earth. Okay. So for someone to say that that's good means you're a fucking lunatic. Okay?
Yeah.
So, and I'm not going to argue with people that say that that's good. That's just ridiculous.
I'm not gonna. Yeah,
But
I'm
I
not gonna.
promised Endalo, that I would get back to her. Endalo, please unmute your mic. Thank you for waiting patiently. You've had a few minutes to gather your thoughts. What did you want to say?
Thank you so much for letting me back in.
Of course.
Yes, first things first, I'd like to say that can we also please be given enough time without like to state the points as we continue instead of like just cutting us off and not given enough time as other people that are agreeing with you.
First of all, I've given people plenty of time that disagreed with me. And if you don't like how I run my lives, you're free to leave. Okay. So if you have a point worth making, go ahead and make it. And
all right.
And if you say wild things in the middle of it, I might interrupt to ask a question about the wild thing you said, because that's how conversations work. But you're not going to run my life for me. But go ahead.
No, I'm not trying to run the
Yes, you are. But
life.
go ahead.
Okay. All right. So this is the thing. I've heard many people say their points based on the Christian woman, this one, the good and the evil. I think maybe most of the people that don't believe in God have reduced God to what the modern day Christianity say God is. I think that's where the misconception is. Because if you try to learn about God as this entity, the beginning of it all, you will come down to an understanding that when I say so many, I think people all over the world, not without any direction, without any colonization, separating all that, always believe that there is an entity above us, like there is something that exists that brought in creation. I'll use my culture, for example.
And at
I'm
one
African,
point,
as you
everyone
can
on
see.
Earth thought that the Earth was flat. Did that make it true?
No, but that was just lack of evidence. It's not that it made it true.
Lack of evidence. That's interesting.
No. Okay,
lack of evidence.
Thank you for that. It's that, right? However, when you say that many people thought that the earth was true, it was the people that were starting that. No one, personally, in my culture or where I'm from, none of that exists. No one cared about what the earth was. It's the people that wanted to study what earth was that came and said, no, the earth is flat. But everyone in the world didn't think that. No one cared about what shape the earth was. It was only those people that studied that particular thing, wanted to know what kind of it. And when they found out,
the majority of people on Earth at one point thought that the Earth was flat, but that didn't make it true.
I don't think that's
true.
Who
believes in God and how many people believe in God? That doesn't impress me at all.
Let me tell you about my way I come from.
Yeah, please do. And I hope you finally get to it, because so far there's been a lot of presupposition and front loading, and we haven't gotten to the point. So please make your point.
You understand language carries a lot of history and whatever. Right? I'm still going ahead.
Fuck.
What my culture says, there's a name called Unkulunkulu and Umvelingqangi. That means the beginning of the beginning, like the beginning of things. My culture has that. It has that on its own. No, because we usually say, no, white people brought religion to us and whatsoever. Without any infiltration whatsoever, they had that. So many people, if you look at the, I'm sorry, I don't know, what are the natives of North America, they also have something. It might come in a form of earth, of water, of nature in general, but they do understand that something outside of us exists, and that thing can be attributed the title of God, the title of the beginning, the title of we are from this thing. Yes, people say we might come from water. We cannot. I don't think that we have the technology, we have the full knowledge, and we have any kind of intelligence as of now. As we continue to learn, we're going to discredit so many things. We're going to say, for example, the earth is not flat because this is what we have seen. We have seen this one, we've seen that one. Things change, and that is only what normal people do when they learn new evidence.
Let me pause you right there. What you're engaging in is what's referred to as a gish gallop, where you're just vomiting a whole lot of ideas in a row and in a very fast pace, and that's all well and good, but you aren't actually making any points. You're just saying a bunch of things that people might think and people believe in what culture and that culture and this culture. none of this has amounted to evidence that God is real. So is that the
I
point
think
that you're building toward? That God is
there's
real?
so much evidence. Okay, one
Okay.
thing that I would ask you, there's a show on National Geographic that says it's directed by Will Smith. He talks about the big the rock that we
Will
live in.
Smith is a giant asshole, so I don't care what he
No,
says.
he
So
is the presenter
again,
of the show. There's actual scientists
let me ask you a
in the
better
show.
question. Let me ask you a
actual
better
scientists.
question.
Yes.
Let me ask you a better question.
Yes.
So that we're not here for 4 hours listening to nothing. I'd like to know what your evidence, since you said there's so much evidence, can you list 3 pieces of evidence that prove that God is real?
By me, that I found. First evidence, we breathe air. Second evidence, we are alive. Me and you are humans. Okay. That is the second evidence.
No, that's not evidence.
Evidence.
That's an observation. Those first two. Let me help you.
No,
let me help you a little bit. Let me help you a little bit. Let me help you a little bit. The first 2 things that you mentioned are observations.
Don't
you observe that everybody else quiet down. The first 2 things that you mentioned are observations, which is we breathe air, right? And not every being on earth does breathe air. Some of them breathe
No, that's not what
water.
I'm saying. Everything.
But hold on. That is an observation. And I agree with that observation. The second thing you said is another observation, which is we are alive. That is not proof that God is the reason why we are alive or proof that God exists. So what's your third piece of evidence?
What I'm saying is, as much as those things don't approve or don't prove,
what is your third piece of evidence, please?
No, my third piece of evidence is that you are ignorant, and it will only take time and you opening your mind to learn. I feel like you are very
excellent. I'm ignorant. Good. That sums it all up. Perfect. Okay.
Ay, Dios mío. Ay, Dios mío.
So, this is a problem with understanding words. When I say evidence and you give me an observation, that means you don't know what evidence is. Okay? Yes, we breathe air. Well, that's an observation. That's provably true because we can observe it, right? And we can repeat it, and we understand what happens if we don't breathe air, right? We know that we perish if we don't breathe air. So these are childish notions delivered in a childish way. And she seemed like a lovely person. She sounds very intelligent, but there's an area of her brain that still operates the way a child's brain operates. So we have 2 new people up here.
Yoddah, I have to say goodnight. I have to say goodnight. I'm so
sorry.
Yoddah,
I gotta drop down too.
All right. Always a pleasure having you here. Have a good night.
Me as well. I have work in the morning.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for being nice.
Thank you for being here.
Man, this fucker ain't nice. This is a bald-ass, miserable-ass motherfucker right here. He don't give a fuck about what anybody's got to say. Me, motherfucker, it's Nelson.
Is that N7? Who was talking just now?
That was Nelson.
Okay, so he can go fuck himself.
Okay,
so is it Kinui? Hello?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, what's your name?
Doc Brown?
Huh?
Doc Brown.
Oh, Doc, no, I'm not. I'm talking to the person above you. It looks like Kniuy, Kinui? Kanayu? They probably came up accidentally. So what's up, Doc? Sorry, couldn't resist.
That's no worries. So, what do y'all think, considering what you know about neurology, evolutionary biology, a multitude of things? Why do people lock into a religion? Is it purely
my opinion about that is that
where you're born,
people are afraid
how you're raised.
People are afraid of the end of their life, right? And religion takes advantage of that. religion, because isn't it interesting that what religion calls the experience after you perish the afterlife, right? So they're even connecting it to life. The thing that people are afraid of losing, they're connecting it. Oh, it's the afterlife, right? And so they're offering a way for people to assuage their fear. But unfortunately, in the process of doing that, they're also milking people for money and making people hate other people.
Yep.
Yep. There's a crutch built in there, but
and that's okay. I get it. You know, I
don't
like the idea that my life is going to end. You know, I know it's a persistent rumor, but you know, the rumor is that my life is going to end one day, and I hate that idea, right? So I get people searching for ways to relieve the anxiety and the fear around their life ending.
So
can I respond to it too, Doc?
Why don't people view religion as geographic?
Say that again.
Purely geographic.
Ask that question again. I didn't hear it.
Why do people not view religion as geographic in nature? Like 100% geographic?
Well, because, you know, it's the same reason that people will say America's the greatest country in the world, right? Wherever you happen to be born, that's usually the religion that you're going to be into, whatever's predominant in that culture. And so they just grow up thinking that they're absolutely right, so they wouldn't have to consider any other option. But yeah, it's which religion. I don't think religion is geographical, but I think which religion you're into is geographical.
No, it's very fucking geographical. You can map it out.
Maybe we're thinking of it in different ways. When you say it's very geographical, what do you mean by that?
Yes, if you're born and raised in Texas.
Yeah, no, that's just what I said. That's literally what I said. I said that it's not geographical in the sense that geography causes religion. I think just, being alive and being afraid of the end of your life is what causes religion. Let me get to the end of my sentence. I think that the type of religion that you get into is geographical. So I agree with that part of it.
So when people come up that are of very different religions, do they not see that?
Do they not see what?
That they're born into a certain aspect and read
I addressed that earlier. They just think they're right because the religion tells them they're right. Their one true God is the one true God, even though in the Bible there is no one true God, because it starts off in Genesis saying we made man in our image, so that's already a plurality. And then in the first commandment is don't worship any other God but me, which indicates that there's other gods, right? But they don't think of it that way.
They ignore the verses, I should say.
Yeah. Or they don't understand them, because remember, most people that claim to believe in the Bible have not read the Bible. Most people only understand the Bible based on what the guy standing in the front of the room with the beautiful dress says about the Bible.
It is a beautiful dress, though.
Oh, they are resplendent in their attire, but the shit that's pouring out of their mouth is horrifying.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, Doc. I think, and forgive me if I'm getting this wrong, but maybe what I think you're trying to say is, do people not have an awareness that they're in a religion because of where they live?
Yeah. No, I definitely got that same impression from the question. And yeah, I don't think people think about their religious beliefs. I think they just have them foisted upon them based on whatever their family decides their religion is going to be. And then they just go with that without ever questioning it, because remember, religion discourages questioning.
Yeah, it's more like a reflex.
You know, when little boys and girls ask their parents, you know, what is God? Why this? Why that? Why that? Eventually, mom and dad are going to say, you have to have faith, because they run out of answers, because they don't know it, right? They don't know the answers to the questions, and the priests don't know the answers to the questions. So that's what they tell everybody. You just have to have faith. It's all nonsense. It's all medieval fucking gobbledygook. Not even medieval. It's Bronze Era gobbledygook. And, you know, you just have to have faith that it's true.
Like Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny.
Very similar.
Good stuff. Something says host has no evidence for the claim. Let me explain how evidence works. Okay, I'm not making a claim. I'm expressing an opinion. Okay, the claim is that God is real. So you have to have evidence, and the bigger the claim, the bigger the evidence has to be. What I'm saying is the only place I've ever experienced God is in people saying that they believe in God. So I see no evidence for God anywhere else. So I have to conclude that God is just your imagination. That's an opinion. There is no evidentiary process to prove nothing. Okay? You can't prove a negative. It doesn't work that way.
Well, and like most people,
what if nothing never existed?
Hold on. Steven was saying something.
Yeah. Most people are really asking a more fundamental question when they talk about God, which, and I'm sympathetic to it, is how do you explain the mysteries of the universe? And they find ways that they are able to make it through hardships. Like for me, I have leukemia. I've had it for 10 years. There have been really trying times, especially lately. Like in the last 6 months, they've been really hard. But like a lot of people will try and explain away getting through and their own perseverance with this prescription that God did it. God got them through it. And I can be sympathetic to that. Like, you know, that, but it's when that prescription becomes a mandate for everyone else that it becomes a religion, and that religion requires adherence and what's the exact word I'm looking for? Adherence and compliance to whatever the people who dictate what the religion is. That is the real problem for me, because a lot of it's made up, and we have to understand that like being able to get through a hard time and being able to prescribe it to God, which is okay. I can understand that. Sure. We all go through hard times. But when that becomes a manifesto, like some sort of, whatter, to everybody has to follow into that kind of prescription is where it really runs haywire, because that's when people get to take advantage. It becomes the Trojan horse that infects society like a virus. And it allows somebody to say, well, what about those people? Well, I don't like their behavior. I don't like the way they eat that food. I don't want to eat that food. That's where it's the biggest problem. Solving the mysteries of the universe is something I'm just so not interested or gives me comfort, which is why I feel so free from religion.
Yeah, I totally get that.
I can understand that.
Yeah, and I would say that some people's motivation for talking about what God did for them is actually more frivolous than what you described. What you described absolutely happens in terms of just people trying to cope with the world. I get that, right?
Yeah,
but sometimes I think it's people that just want to feel special. God saved them, right? I've heard so many stories about, I was in a car accident and God spared me. I had a disease and God spared me. I had this, and this, and God spared me. And I'm like, oh, so you're just special. And then when I say to them, hey, why did God not spare the 24,000 people that starved yesterday, and the 24,000 people that are going to starve today, and the 24,000 people that are going to starve tomorrow? And it's going to get exponentially worse now that U.S. aid is gone. But like, why didn't God spare them? You know, like, oh, you're so special that you were spared, but those people deserve to go, I guess.
I recently had a conversation like this because, if
by
you
the
would
way,
indulge me.
this guy Eric keeps requesting up. It's like I'm trying to tell you, Eric, you're a donut, and I don't want to talk to you anymore because you proved that you're a donut, and so the fact that you keep requesting up is weird.
Yoddah, if you would indulge me to just say something a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
Recently I had some funny business with the government, and I got thrown off of Social Security disability.
Oh,
recently.
damn.
I'm now back on, so I'm going to start there. One of the things that I had to learn through this process is the communication between government agencies. I'm going to tie this back into the conversation. Sorry. The communication between government in order to have life-sustaining medicine is so difficult. And I had people telling me that, like, oh, yeah, well, and good Christian people, and I put that in parentheses, well, the government's not really supposed to be doing that. That doesn't explain away the fact that if I had gone 3 months without my medication, my spleen would have exploded from having too many white blood cells in it.
Wow.
And the technical realities and the cost of what happens to people when they're cut off from food, when they're cut off from electricity and power and fresh water and utilities. These are real, tangible things. And I can't believe it is difficult for me to understand how good-hearted people can default back to this religious ideology to explain away all of these things. And that's why I talk about them in the form of hallucinations.
Yeah.
Because
how many people that are
hallucinating.
self-identified as Christians are like, we don't want immigrants here. And I'm like Christ instructed you specifically to embrace immigrants, to take them into your homes, to feed them, to clothe them, to take care of them, all that stuff. And so that's why I say it's easy to say I'm a Christian, but living it is a whole different thing.
Yeah, which is why I get so much comfort being an atheist and actually going out and doing the work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, Corman, thank you for stopping by. So yeah, I mean, it's to me, religion, and I wanna separate the believer from the belief. Okay, so believers, that's one category, but the belief system is the institution, and to me, religion as an institution is a cancer on humanity.
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely.
It has never led to good outcomes, and any good that you could possibly come up with, like, oh, we do a fundraiser for this and a fundraiser for that. Okay, fine. So never a good outcome is an overstatement. I think the negatives far outweigh any of the positives. That's like saying, yeah, I get what Schmittler did, but he owned a dog, so he couldn't have been all bad. Because, so that kind of rationale, like the shit that God did in the Bible is fucking horrific. Not only the stuff that he did, the stuff that he commanded, the laws that he passed down, especially about slavery and women, horrifying. So any good that can come of that's just a weird rationalization.
Yeah, well, you could make any Christian who's part of the institutional church a non-believer in God if they had absolute proof that God was a Democrat. No, I'm serious. I'm serious because that behavior is completely intolerable.
Yo, I got a question.
Hey, have you been on lives before?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, so you don't know how they work, obviously. And so, well, I already know that you're a donut because you don't have any self-control. So I might just drop you, but I don't know. I'll give you a few seconds. What's on your mind, donut?
Yeah, so what's it called? How are you able to claim that what God does is bad?
Well,
How
I
am I
have
able to
I
claim
have
that God does is bad?
leukemia.
Let's see. I
I
think
have
I think
leukemia and my
that I think
medication's
that
2 out of
drowning
15.
infants is bad. I think that drowning
Yeah,
infants is bad.
it's pretty bad.
Okay, what makes that bad?
Just, my sense of good and bad. So you think that's
Yes.
good?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So you're a donut, like I said. I knew it.
Jesus Christ.
I could just tell by the way he came into the live that he was a
Oh,
fucking donut.
100%. 100%. He was
Yeah,
so
I think
eager.
drowning infants is good. Yeah.
Good.
Because my religion, my sky daddy did it, so it must be good. Fucking donuts.
It's so unbearable. It's like, like if something like this was so prevalent throughout society and it existed in the physical form, they would try to wipe it out with a vaccine.
I mean, something that Christopher Hitchens said stuck
Oh, I
with
love
me. I thought he
Christopher.
was unbelievably brilliant, and he never lost a debate with a religious person. I don't have the exact quote, but the end of the quote essentially is that you need religion in order to make a good person do terrible things, right?
100%.
Because and what this guy just said about drowning infants is good. Only religion can create that, because we know as humans, we inherently know that there are certain things that are good and certain things that are bad. We don't even have to be taught these things. And even if we don't inherently know them, we can figure it out. Like when you're a child, the first time you say something that hurts another child's feeling, and that child, they change their face, maybe they start crying or whatever, that feels bad. If you're a compassionate, functional human being, that's going to feel bad to you. No one had to tell you that was bad. You sensed it. You were like, "Oh, I hurt this person feeling. I don't like how I feel when I did that." Right? So like there is an inherent understanding of good and bad. And if you need a book, a badly written work of fiction to tell you what's good and bad, then maybe you're not as smart as you think you are.
Can I just also, like, to your point about what you're saying about, like, just observing human nature, like, do you see a bunch of religious animals out there?
Right. This guy
Like,
Dev wants to come back up. Eric is still trying to request stuff. I mean, these guys are relentlessly idiotic. It's so wild.
I mean,
I want to
you
come up
can't
and say
stop people.
more heartless, cruel things.
Listen, there would be nothing more ridiculous than watching animals perform religion.
Right.
There's just nothing fun. There's just nothing. And like, look, animals exist with intelligence.
Look, and by the way, I'm sorry to cut you off, but this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is a comment that Eric just made. Your arrogance and pride has the best of you. God will humble you when you least expect it. See, Sky Daddy gonna get you, and they revel in that. They love that feeling of being able to threaten someone with something bad happening to them because of their fucking religious beliefs. What a piece of shit.
You know what my favorite thing to tell these people is? Hell isn't real either.
Right, of course it's not.
You can't threaten me with it. It's not real.
Of course not.
And like the quicker you understand that hell is not real, there isn't some magical place that's a lake of fire where people are just spending eternity having a terrible time. Like the quicker you understand that, the more that this religion hallucination you will not be under its control.
And let's try to steel man the argument for a moment.
Let's do it.
Let's accept that hell is a real place, right?
Sure.
So does it make sense to punish someone for eternity for a finite mistake?
Fuck no. Fuck no.
So just on the premise of it is just flawed. It's just absolutely flawed. And believe in me or perish in hell forever is not freedom of choice. That is coercion. Just like, and I'm going to introduce you, Ken, in just a moment. Just like if I walked up to you, no, I'll put it the other way so TikTok doesn't get mad at me. If someone walked up to me and put a weapon to my head and said, your money or your life, I have a choice in that moment, right?
Yeah.
But that is a choice of coercion and under duress. So believe in me or perish in or suffer forever in hell is a choice, but it's a coerced choice. So that's not freedom of choice. Ken, how are you this evening?
I'm well. Interesting topic. Now, I'm sorry to disappoint both of you, but I can tell you this, beyond any shadow of a doubt, God is real.
Excellent.
Heaven.
I'm excited. Finally,
Okay.
finally, someone is going to.
With
you
evidence.
thought I was going to be disappointed, Ken. I'm excited that you are going to prove that God is real. Please continue.
100% I can prove to you.
Excellent. Go ahead.
Perfect.
I have this debate all the time.
Fantastic.
Okay?
We're waiting. Go ahead.
Do you know what psychosis is?
Psychosis?
Yeah.
Yes, I have an idea. Basically a dysfunctional brain, but go ahead.
Well, I've had a dysfunctional brain, and you imagine all sorts of things, and when you wake up, you're completely convinced these things happened. So I had a brain injury. I was in hospital for 6 months. I thought they were operating on me in a garage. I thought the
So
nurses...
Ken, before you continue, I just have a quick question, and I swear you're going to continue. So at the end of this story, you're going to tell me that what happened to you is proof that God exists, right?
100%.
Okay, excellent. Continue.
Okay, now I can tell you exactly where God is. It's in the mind
but
of
please,
the
wait. I
believer.
want to hear the end of the story. So you were in the hospital, and what else happened?
I was in hospital for 6 months.
Uh-huh.
I firmly believe they were like aliens, the doctors and nurses. They were trying to operate on me, and they were treating me in a garage. And I often threatened the staff, telling them I was going to unalive them. And the reason I was going to unalive them is because they were experimenting on me. And in my mind, I completely believe that. When my friends came to see me, I used to tell them, look, get me out of here. And I believed it 100%. So now I know what it's like to be psychotic. And it's a form of psychosis. All of these people who believe in a sky daddy, when I speak to people of certain faith, they're telling me that, well, how do you think humans got here? And they're telling me about Adam and Eve. And I go, what, really? 2026? With all of the information about whether it's in a book or whether it's on the internet. I mean, the phone I'm speaking to you on, you may or may not be aware of this, it's 1,000,000 times more information than the computer that took us to the moon in early 1970. 1,000,000
Okay, so
times.
how does this prove that God is real?
Well, it's real in the mind of the believer. So
which is imagination.
100%.
Okay.
But to them, it's real. I have this argument with them all the time. I try not to antagonize them, and I've come to the conclusion, and it did take me a little while to get there, that these people need God to get through life, the Sky Daddy. They need
and you believe
that.
that's a form of psychosis.
100%.
So I don't know if I would agree with you on that. It's possible that it's psychosis, but psychology does have an explanation for this because psychosis is all encompassing, but the way psychology explains a belief in religion is more localized, which is monomania. And it is exactly how it sounds, mono meaning one and mania meaning crazy. So these people, there are people that could be fully functional, intelligent, loving, caring, giving, all that good stuff. They don't harm other people or anything like that. But there's an area of their brain that's crazy, and that's the religious part.
Okay.
That's how psychology explains it. And if that means psychosis, then fine. But I don't think that is exactly psychosis. But I might be splitting hairs.
Oh, okay. All right. Maybe I'm not completely right. I've just gone off on a
Yeah,
slight tangent.
I'd have to read the definition of psychosis,
Okay.
but basically, I have a feeling that psychosis is far more encompassing than just a singular belief that But again, I could be wrong about that.
Okay. Well, having been there and done it and got the
And by the
T-shirt,
way, I was there too. Just to touch on your hospital story, I spent a week in the hospital for brain tumor removal back in 2012. And after I got out, the combination of meds that they gave me had some bad side effects, one of which is that I couldn't sleep at all. And after close to 10 days of not sleeping, I had a mental breakdown and I went back to the hospital and I was in, full delusion for a day or two, right? And so I remember the things that were entering my mind, at least some of the things that were entering my mind during that time. And some of them were horrific. Some of them were just weird. But, I have a feeling that I had a taste of psychosis also. So I tend to think that monomania is a better explanation for religion than psychosis, only because psychosis is so much more powerful and all encompassing.
Okay, well, welcome to the club. What drugs?
I like Ken.
I was on a drug called olanzapine.
Oh yeah, no, they didn't give me that, but they did give me Thorazine, which I found out I was allergic to.
Wow, that's the big one.
Yeah, they gave me Thorazine, which is liquid lobotomy, and I had an immediate violent reaction to it, which was to just like shut down and pass out. I remember I was like crawling back to my bed, and then I woke up like hours later. It was wild. But we have.
Do you know what a B-52 cocktail is, Yoddah?
I've heard of it. I don't know exactly what it is.
B-52 cocktail, I only know this because I've had family members who have gone to the psych hospital. But when you get wild and crazy at the psych hospital, they hit you with what's called a B-52 cocktail. It's Haldol and Thorazine, and it neutralizes.
Oh yeah, that'll take the fight right out of you.
Okay.
So we have a new guest. Let me say hello to Blue Pill. How you doing?
What's up, man? Can you hear
me?
me?
In paradise. What's up with you?
Doing good. You can hear me though, right?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, nice. Heck yeah. Yeah, you're freaking the topic, God is just your imagination. Yeah, it's definitely that definitely is true, but everything can't be simple, you know what I'm saying? As far as just like our imaginations coming up with the same thing, like I seen an Egyptian sun god, or a lot of people see that. Some people see a slim figure with a beard and long hair, and we get Jesus, and a lot of people it's our imagination is definitely connected to something. I just don't know if you're atheist or not, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, we're definitely connected to something. Definitely, for sure. I don't know
Okay,
if you
that
feel
was
the
a
same
long way
way.
to get to that point, but so what is the point of saying that we're definitely connected to something?
Yeah, it's us. It starts with us, you know. It starts with us, and yeah, it's something that lies deep within us as a whole. You know, our you know, the way we perceive things are you know, just us as
I
a
think
whole
there's evidence to what
consciously.
you're saying
Yeah,
because even, on cave walls, we see depictions of what we associate with deities, right?
yeah,
So I think it's logical that if you're sitting on the plains of the Serengeti and you see this big bright ball in the sky move across the sky,
yeah,
and then you follow it, and then you position yourself sitting in the direction where it disappeared, right? And
yeah.
you're waiting for it to come back, and then suddenly it's behind you,
Hmm.
right? That's going to be fascinating, to a
It would
prehistoric
definitely
man. That's going to be
it
fascinating, right? And
it would
so
definitely,
I
yeah.
think
Go ahead.
from the earliest times,
Yeah,
we've been trying to figure out what's this all about, right? There's three
true
big
indeed.
questions that human beings have had for as long as I can see, which is, where do we come from? Why
Yeah,
are we here? And where do we go? Right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
so some people have manufactured as an answer that God did all this, and after we go somewhere that God has prepared for us. And I understand that
yeah.
conclusion because it's scary to think that our life just ends. It's terrifying for some people. Okay.
It's not, you know, probable, but I get what you're saying.
But you
But
know that people are
just to
like,
some
in
people,
our
I
list
mean,
of fears,
it's basically,
that death comes in usually at number one or two for most people,
yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure,
So
for sure.
it's a
I
thing
mean,
that motivates
yeah,
us, this
yeah,
fear of death. And so I think
and
it's
that's
clever that
yeah,
religion has called what happens to you later the afterlife, because
yeah,
that gives
yeah,
us hope,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, exactly. The reason why I don't really like coming up on these panels and stuff like that, because you guys pose questions that are unanswerable. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of would take it as like a kind of like a rage bait to your question. I mean, you got some people who are, you know, really into faith and stuff like that, which a lot of things take faith. You know, you could find faith in a lot of things that you do on a daily. um but yeah, just as far as just the unknown, you know what I'm saying, the unknown about, you know, everything in the world, it's just you know, it's kind of crazy. I mean, you know, we've been around for millions of years, depending on what you believe, or you could say around 7,000, or you could say around
Well,
9,000, depending
so
on what you believe.
according to science,
Yeah,
it's about 350 million years when we were
yeah,
cousins with lobsters, and
yeah,
then about a million or so, no, about 6 million years, 6.5 million years,
yeah.
moving up to our current form, which is about 300,000 years.
Yeah, according to, you know, these
Science.
people, no, nobody really knows anything. We don't know. Nobody was around to tell us 350 million years ago. It's just faith. So your
No, it's
faith
not.
would
It's
be in.
not that.
Yeah.
That's a dodge. That's not a real thing. To say nobody knows anything. Let me ask you something. Do you know that
No,
if
no.
you put your hand in an open flame, that more than likely your flesh is going to get burned?
Well,
Do you know that?
I do know that. Yep,
Okay,
I do know that.
so we know things.
How? Well, how would I know that? because I seen it happen. I felt it happen.
Uh-huh.
Um,
So we're
did you
talking
see?
evidence. So we're
Did
talking
you?
evidence.
Yeah, evidence. So did you see, or did you feel, coming from a personal standpoint, there's evidence, I don't think you're a scientist or anything like that, but there are scientists that study these things, and they have found evidence of, people being around for millions of years, which is true. That's what they found.
Where is that
As far
evidence?
as
I've never heard of it.
300, well, it just depends on what you believe in. You know what
Well,
I'm
when you
saying?
say the people around, you don't mean people lived for a million years. You mean
I,
people
I
were
people
around for millions of years?
been around since, what you just said,
Yeah.
350. I didn't know that, actually. I'm glad you said that, because that's new information for me.
Yeah, that's
So,
just paleontology and anthropology.
yeah, for sure, man. And honestly, a lot of people, haven't seen. A lot of people have faith in things that they don't know that they have faith in. I guess science is a way to say that you have faith in,
No.
this this thing.
This is another dodge that
Yeah,
religious people say, science is a matter of faith. No, it isn't. It's literally the opposite of faith. Faith is
it's the
defined,
opposite of
excuse
faith.
me, faith is
Yeah.
defined as believing something without evidence. Science is defined as proving something because of evidence.
Okay. Evidence. It's just, it's evidence is, it's just, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's an actual fact. You know what I'm saying?
No,
As
I don't
far
know
as
what you're
like,
saying. I don't know
as
what you're
far
saying.
as like, as far as like, people not being able, as far as no one being around in 350 million, whatever you said, no one was around back then to tell us now, right? Am I right? That would be that would be
So
that would
are
be
you
impossible.
completely discounting things like fossil records and stuff like that?
But you know what I do? I take everything with a grain of salt. And
Fantastic.
this is
Okay,
this
great.
is this
So
is
does that
this
mean
is what
does that mean
no
you
but
don't
this
believe in science?
no, I'm not saying I don't
So
believe in
do
it.
you believe in science?
um yeah,
Oh,
I do. I
okay.
do. I do believe
Okay.
in science, man.
Yeah,
I
why do you
believe
believe
in,
in science?
because I took science in high school, and I
That's
had to
not a good
pass the
reason to believe in
I
it.
had to pass the test.
But why honestly, if you believe in science, why do you
Yeah,
believe in science?
I believe in science because I don't care about, believing in. I believe in science and God. How about that? I just don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Just being honest
so
with you,
this
bro.
conversation has reached a dead
I'm being
end because
okay. Okay. Yeah.
it's a simple thing. The reason why anyone accepts science, because let me ask you something. Is gravity real whether you believe it or not?
I will leave you. I
Is
will
gravity
leave you.
real whether you believe it or not?
All I know is I can't fly. If I hold a ball in the air,
All
it's
right,
gonna go to
excellent.
the.
Fantastic point. So this is what I love about science is that it doesn't need our
My
belief.
word.
No one has to believe in science. Okay? I accept the conclusions of science because nothing has come in to prove better or different. And the other thing I respect about science is that it's constantly looking for the truth and doesn't accept something as true or a fact until they do everything they can to disprove it. If
That's
you
right.
do everything you can to disprove something and you fail at disproving it, then it's reasonable to accept it as a fact, right? But even then, science stays open to finding out new things. That's the exact opposite of religion.
Hey, Yoda, I have to go. I just wanted to let you know how happy I am to be in here and to be around such a sane person.
Thank you.
And to dogmatically go and support the truth. I You never cease to amaze me. Every time I listen to you, like I'm not trying to be a fanboy or anything.
No. Listen, I appreciate this. There was a time when it was hard for me to accept compliments. That time is gone. I can accept them now. So I appreciate everything you're saying.
You're an oasis. You really are. I do have to go. I want to call my sister, who I need to give love and support right now. But you are. If there's anywhere that absolutely encapsulates what you are, you're an oasis for truth. So thank you
man.
so
I
much.
appreciate that. Thanks, and always I appreciate you being here. Have a great night.
Yeah, I'll call you soon.
All right, take care. All right, it's down to you, Ken. Any other thoughts that you have? And you'd have to unmute yourself, Ken. You are muted now. Are you still there, Ken? Can you unmute yourself? Let's see. There you are.
Yeah,
You got
hello.
it.
Yeah. I often debate with people of a certain faith, and the debate, I ask them, where do they think humans came from? This is in today's world. We're 2026. Information is pretty ubiquitous. It's everywhere. They're telling me Adam was the first man. I said, really? Well, in today's world, and as you're aware, we, similar denomination as yourself, we look this way because of sunlight. Remember, for many years, and for many Caucasian people, they think we're somehow a different race of people. We are, by definition, only. My hair's curly. You know why my hair's curly? You probably had curly hair at one time. You know why?
I had wavy hair.
Right. You know why your hair was wavy? It's to protect us against the ultraviolet rays of the sun.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the thing with melanin is the closer you are to the equator, the darker your skin's going to be to protect you from sun's rays. As people moved into northern, colder climates and ate more fish and vegetables, they lost the pigmentation. Big fucking whoop.
Okay, and the hair, why have Caucasians got straight hair? Do you know that?
I don't know. They're closer to apes than we are?
Yes, they are, because their DNA is between 1% and 4% Neanderthal.
Yeah.
Plus, as they got to the colder climates, the hair grew down to protect their vital organs against the cold. It's just simple based on climate.
Yeah.
So they're hairier than us.
And there's only 30% of them in the world anyway, so they're the exception
that,
rather than the rule.
Don't tell them that, because they still got us down as the ethnic race minority.
Yeah.
And of course, as you know, you're someone of color. Mm-hmm. I mean, to say black lives don't matter, that's a wrong quote. Black people don't really matter, because they are what's the word I'm looking for? And you may agree or may not agree. They're more advanced than us. When I say they're more advanced than people of color, sorry, they're better killers, thieves, robbers. No black country has ever invaded another country.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't even know how to wash themselves until black people taught them.
Thank you very much, the Moors. Okay, so we wouldn't wake up one day and say, I'm going to make a bomb that can blow up the whole world. Why would anybody do that? So they're incredibly primitive.
It's almost like they're a death cult.
They are 100%. Let me just let you know this. I'm not prejudiced in any way. My son is mixed race. All my best friends are white people. So, and you can't often have this discussion with them. First thing they'll tell you is, you're a racist. You've got a chip on your shoulder. And for all the stuff that's gone on in the past, they go, well, it wasn't me. Well, it was only 2 lifetimes ago. It was only 180 years ago. It was your ancestors, and you kept all of the stolen loot, all of it. You gave back none of it. Today, the R word is seen like an incredible swear word. Now, you may or may not agree with me, but reparations is only for Caucasian people.
Yeah, I mean, slaveholders got reparations because they lost stock.
Yeah. Where's our money for all the work we did?
Yeah. Yeah, it's, people talk about slavery as if it ended so long ago. It's only 2 80-year-old people ago. Okay?
Thank you very much. Two
All right?
lifetimes ago.
Two
Yeah.
80-year-old people. That's not a
Yes.
whole long time. And also, in my lifetime, black people didn't have the right to vote. I was born in 64. Black people didn't get that right till 65. So this is not ancient history. Redlining was just prosecuted against a bank a few years ago. Less than 5 years ago, I think. That's not ancient history. Okay?
Thank
What
you.
we see right now going on with this 1930s Germany bullshit inflicted upon people by ICE, that's happening right now. Okay, so don't tell me racism is over. Don't tell me Barack Obama was proof that racism was over. No, Barack Obama was proof that people came to their senses for a short time. Okay.
Well, I can tell you this. I live in the UK. Okay. Now, you may or may not know this. Racism is a team sport since 1844. You know the main players, don't you? 14 of them. I mean, just use your imagination, and I'm sure you've got a good imagination. Can you imagine you live somewhere in a country, you would get together with 14 of your neighbors, European people, whitey people, and you would go and find a land, say, well, there are people there, but they're not really human, and then their Roman Catholic Church and their organization says that the African, he's only 4/5 of a human being, so we could do all of these things to him. You clearly know you're doing wrong. Even you wouldn't treat an animal the way they treated us. You wouldn't. I wouldn't.
But see, I don't think they did believe that they were wrong, and they treated their cattle better because they didn't see us as humans. They didn't. Some of them see us as animals, but I say no. You treat animals better, but they just, if we are non-human to them, if we are somehow diminished from them, if our Constitution says they're 3/5 of a person, then you can do anything you want to them. That's what happened in the Bible. That's what the Bible not only condones slavery, but instructs on how to manage slaves, including how to trick slaves into staying slaves when their time is due to be free.
Yeah, you must be a good slave, the Bible says.
You must be a good slave, yep.
And
But anyway, I think we've covered a lot of good ground today. I really appreciate that you came up and shared your experience with us and your perspective with us. And I'm glad to be part of the club where I hallucinated in the hospital.
Yeah, well done, well done. See, you know beyond any doubt that the mind can create anything.
Anything.
Albert Einstein said,
and it doesn't necessarily take trauma to have that happen. Human beings are highly susceptible to suggestion.
Yeah.
That's why advertising works. That's why propaganda works. It just is the reality. Oh, Jessica's here. Hey, Jessica, thanks for stopping by. You came in just at the end. But so listen, Ken, thank you again. Please feel free to come by anytime. I'm here most days.
I appreciate that. I'm now following you, am I?
I hope so. But if you're not, then do so real quick. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Have a great night.
Okay.
Folks, thanks for hanging in there for almost 2.5 hours. This was an impromptu, unscheduled live show. I don't normally come up on Sunday nights. But since I didn't do my Sunday morning, my Sunday noon show because I was too busy being exhausted, I decided to come up Sunday night, and I'm glad I did. This was a rousing conversation, even with people that were saying outrageously stupid things. But these conversations need to be had because this religion shit is a blight on humanity. And I'm saying that literally. It is a cancer on humanity. It is slowing humanity down. You know, believe whatever you want, but let's get rid of religion. Okay? Because if we're just a bunch of individuals believing in different things, that's already going on, and that's not going to create a problem. The problem comes in when religion is introduced and starts telling you to do fucked up things to people in the name of your religion. So let's get religion out of there. All right. So I am here Monday through Saturday. I almost said Monday through Thursday for some reason. Monday through Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, I had a noon show, 12 noon Eastern Time. And once in a while, I don't. You know, it's I'm undisciplined and inconsistent. So what can I tell you? But hopefully, if you follow me, you can go to my profile and click the bell icon and choose to be notified of my live shows. You don't want to be notified of my content since I'm posting all the time. That'll just annoy you. But you definitely want to be notified of my live shows because we generally have very good conversations. So once again, thank you all for your time. And until we meet again, peace, love, and granola. Talk to you soon.